afternoon, it's Connie, and I am live to show you some fun craft things. I have been scrambling around, as you know, trying to get all of my layouts into photo albums. So I lost track of time and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to do a live today. So I decided at the last minute to try a technique using the Dreammaker Scrapbook Month special and the cool stencils. So this stencil is a 12 by 12 stencil, and I have cut it apart into 6 by 6 stencils because it's just easier to use it that way than have this giant stencil. And so I just wanted to show you one more time what the stencils are. This leaf print, this leaf stencil, are some squares, some lines, and some dots. And we will be using at least those two. I don't know if I'll use these two. So I'm gonna set those aside just for a minute. The other thing I grabbed, I have this plan in my head. We'll see how it goes. But the other thing I grabbed was the stamp set. Now, the stamp set's a giant stamp set. It has two parts. So it has this one that has lots of words, which I'm not going to use today. And then it has this part, which has the flowers and some print and some just generic kind of splashes and stuff. I agree, but there are some people who really love storing their stencils a certain way. Heather, they, like they put them in binders and that kind of thing. And so I'm totally cool cutting them apart as long as they leave enough gap for me to cut them apart if I want to. And the other problem I have is when I use stencils, I'm sloppy. And so I don't necessarily want, if these were side by side, I don't want dots on where I'm putting my leaves, right? Anyway, so the colors I chose for today are pewter and periwinkle. And at first glance, they probably don't look like they really go together, but I think they're gonna look great the way I'm gonna use them today. Okay, so first things first, get my space together. Let me see if I have scratch paper. I have some scratch paper here because just in case I need it. And then I have some 8.5 by 11 sheets of cardstock, and I grabbed 3. Maybe 4, I don't know, 4. I'm just gonna do some random stamping on a couple of them. And then I wanna stamp just a few flowers on here. One of the, let me fix that a little bit. One of the things that they did during the workshop of Dreammaker is they have you stamp some of the flowers, these flowers, and they have you color them by stamping them with these other stamps. So I thought, well, I'll show a little bit of that today. So I want to do 2 of these sheets, so I'm going to just stack them here just for a second. And I have my pewter ink. I'm going to scoot over a little. And a brush. Actually, before I do that, let's just stamp some random flowers. Like I said, I'm sort of winging this a little bit today. I have so much going on. I finally got all my flowers planted outside, which is great. I'm going to go ahead and put this little one on while I have it. And I'm just gonna stamp this random and intense black. So I'm one of those people who really like to get my flowers planted super early so that by the time, you know, midsummer comes, my flowers are big and bushy and beautiful and all of that. And that is hard to do around here because every time you turn around, they're like, oh, there's a frost warning. It's gonna be too cold and you gotta cover everything up. And so typically I wait until, you know, Mother's Day. Hi, Tanya. I appreciate you guys watching and watching to see how this turns out. I'm gonna do a second sheet also. So a lot of times when I do my lives, I have all this kind of done ahead of time so that you're not watching paint dry. You know what I mean? It's like watching the same thing over and over again is a little bit boring. But today I just ran out of time. I started talking with a neighbor and wow, you know, time goes fast. Now the other thing I'm gonna do, so while I have my flower and the black out here, I'm going to go ahead. Oh, my light just slid right off of my table. Like I said, I was in a hurry. Okay, so I'm just gonna stamp a few of these like that. Okay, wash those off. Did I lose too much light? Do I need to go rescue my light? I probably should. Let me grab it. This does sound like my day, this kind of thing. There we go. I swear every single time I turn around, I got another thing going on. All right. Now I can put my flowers aside. I'm gonna put them back on the stamp sheet. And now I'm gonna grab the gray pewter and my stencil, which is the leaves. And what you're seeing on the screen is scratch paper and this. Now, there's different sizes of leaves, and I'm just gonna try to go in between. So what I'm gonna do is start dark in the center of the leaves and then swoosh out just a little bit so that it goes lighter. And then anytime I run into a flower, I'm gonna try not to overlap the flower if I can. So, and then just kind of keep switching the direction. So I'm just using a blending brush, but I have done this with a dauber. It's the problem with the daubers is that you run into getting like a circle right in the middle. You know, these blending brushes are pretty amazing for making a nice smooth look. And then I'm just swooshing outward. And what you notice is even where it's super light, even though it hardly shows, on like when you're stenciling, even those edges that have very little ink on them really look spectacular. They're like just a little bit light, but they're cool looking. So I'm doing the centers really dark, the near the stem, and then swooshing out each leaf And you can make these as dark as you want, and any color, which is even better. Now I have a few empty spots, and I'm going to use like the smaller leaf on that because I do want to fill my space. You'll see what I'm making kind of a collage random print, and I really do want all the space. I don't want a lot of white space, basically. Hi, Margie. How's your day going? Is anybody doing anything fun? I went out to walk the dog, and I'm really close to where they saw that emu. And because it's right over by my dad's house. And so I thought about walking the dog over there just to see if I would see it. But that thing runs like the wind, so who knows, you know. I thought the emu thing was pretty funny. I have a friend who does not think it's funny. She's like, you should not be laughing at this poor creature who is loose and on the run and has no one taking care of it. And I'm like, I'm not laughing at that situation. I just think it's hilarious that, you know, you could be driving down 74 and all of a sudden you got this giant emu. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. I want to do it on this sheet also because I have a plan for it as well. I'm going to make 2 projects today, and since this doesn't usually take too long, I thought might as well work on it. You had a business. A bison. See, I just don't get that. Like, these people who own these animals have got to be going just crazy looking for them. I mean, it's not like they're wild animals, like, you know, like every now and then you'll hear about a cougar or, you know, something like that that's loose in a community, and you know, they tell you a coyote or something. Those are wild and loose, but these are like farm pets that you would just think that those people would be all over it. Like the minute they sighted one loose, you know. But this emu has been, it's been months. I'm trying to figure out how it made it through the winter. Yeah, I love how this, I think you're gonna like how this looks in the end. Because you got to understand that this is not my style. You know, I'm very geometric and everything's got to have like, you know, straight lines and all this kind of stuff. And so it's a little hard for me to like do this collage thing. It's just not my style really. But if I can do it, everybody can do it, because it really is like that easy, and it turns out so pretty. I mean, really. Okay, in the middle, smushing to the edges. Okay, whew, I am done with computer, and I am done with this stencil. Now before I do anything, I'm just gonna take a rag and wipe the stencil off, because I have a tendency to like not be able to tell if it's right side up or right upside down, and I lay it around and get ink everywhere. There we go. is my camera shaking? I think that's why my light fell off the table, was because I was shaking the table so much. All right. Get rid of my scratch paper. Okay, so I have these 2 sheets, and now I'm going to take this pewter and some of my stamps. Now, one of the stamps are these words. Now, these words don't really say anything. If you can see that, they don't really say anything. There's just these random kind of words. And trying to make myself more space. Basically, what I want to do is just random stamp these words. And I'm going to cut this apart into pieces so that there's 4 card fronts. So I want to make sure that I have these words on each of the card fronts, right? So that's why I'm just sort of like, yeah, that looks pretty good. All right, I want to also do it on the second sheet, and this one I'm going to make into a scrapbook page. So this one I'm not cutting apart. Maybe a little too much. All right, good enough though. And then I'm going to put these words back. And I'm going to use this little guy. It's like a little stem. And I just, you know what? This scrapbook one, I'm just gonna kind of randomly put it on here. Whenever you do this random thing, it's kind of important to have it coming off from the sides and, you know, not always the same direction. You don't want it to look like you're marching it into a row. So before I do this little guy on the other ones, I'm going to cut it apart. So I'm going to set this here just for a minute, and I'm going to grab my periwinkle, and I want to grab this splush, this watercolor splush. And basically, so in the Dream Maker workshop, they have you take these colors, take these stamps, and color your flowers kind of random. And you want some of them to be white and some of them to be in color. And you want it to be off, not always directly onto the flower. But this is going to be for a scrapbook page, and so I might want a little more color on it just because so much of it will be covered up. So this one is my scrapbook page, and it's essentially done. I may do a few dots on that. This one though, I wanna cut it apart. So I want these to be four. So I'm going to get rid of this, and you know, a normal card base is 5.5, so I'm going to make this 5 1/4, make it 1/4 inch different. Okay, so I have 4 card bases, and now I'm going to use that splush. I probably need to put the I'm trying to make it look very, you know, not very perfect looking or whatever, but I would like it to stamp good. So like this right here needs a little something. All right, so like that. There's 2. There's 3. All right. I like how that looks. So I'm done with that swoosh. I totally get the OCD thing because it is, what I find is that it's really, really hard not to like make it look super perfect. Like color it in exactly, you know, perfectly. It's hard. It takes a little oomph. All right, now I'm still gonna use that periwinkle, but before I do want to go ahead and do that little pewter stem. That the reason I waited until after I cut it is because I really do want this on every card in a couple of places, and I just don't want it to like every now and then when you cut these apart, there's just like nothing left of it, and I want to be able to see it. So I love that this doesn't take very long, and it makes some pretty amazing cards. And the only reason it's taking as long as it is because I'm making so many. I mean, I figured, well, might as well make a bunch while I'm going, right? Now, the other thing I want to do, putting pewter aside, I want to do some of these little dots. These are like, almost like, I don't know, paint drops or something, but I'm going to do them in the periwinkle color. And they're subtle, right? Can you see them? Oh, that's funny. I hadn't really thought about it. The one thing about the Dreammaker paper is it can be as like the colors that it comes in are very rainbow, pastel-y rainbow, and it looks cool. But if that's not your thing, if you just get the stencil and the stamps, I mean, you can do any color you want, right? So I love that. Okay, there's the small one. And now I'm gonna do a few of the big drops. And I'm putting a big drop next to some of the small drops, not all of them, because you can see it kind of draws your eye, right? that bigger drop look. But on a card, you know, hey, it helps you fill in a little space. So you're like, put one there, put one there. I'll bet you see spaces to put them that I don't see, where you're like, ooh, that it needs something there. Okay. Now, the last thing before I call it done is I want to use that dot stencil. This one, can you see? It's like polka dots. It's kind of weird random dots. I don't want this to be insanely bold, and I don't want it to take over the image, but I'm just going to kind of lift and do a few dots here and there. And do you see how it's just sort of, it just adds to the image a little bit? It just makes it even more collage-y. Is that a word? Collage-y? You know what? I love how this looks. I just love it. And I didn't even prep today. I did a little prep. I had about 10 minutes, and so I cut some periwinkle cardstock down because I wanted to see if I would like that as a scrapbook page. All right. I might do a little more there. Okay. Boom. I'm putting my inks up here out of sight a little bit, so that we can do the rest. Let me clean this off before I make a big old mess. This is just a rag. I use sometimes I use microfiber towels. I have like a couple of rags that I keep kind of nearby. Okay, scratch paper, I'll put aside. I'm gonna put my stamp pad, or my stamps aside. All right, what first? Let's do the cards first. So, oh, you know what I forgot? I forgot to stamp these. I'm so dumb. Let me do that one more time. All right, instead of using the big splush, I'm gonna use this lined splush, just so you can see what it looks like. Now, I know, it's like, but that doesn't color the whole thing in. And you're just gonna have to trust me that it'll work out fine. All right. Like I said, this is one of those things that they do in the big workshop. If you buy, or if you go to the website now, you can use any paper you want. And it kind of talks you through this. These need to be fussy cut, but I'll do that last just in case. All right, put that down. Got a couple card bases here. All right, now the one thing I think this needs the most is it needs black. It needs black. And so, did I cut some of that down? Let me just look. I tried to, I took a piece of black and I cut down a couple of these just so that I would have it ready. And these are cut, you know, like I said, this actual card base is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So I cut this 1/8 of an inch smaller. So this is like 4 1/8 by 5 let's see, what would that be? An eighth less, okay? And then I'll put this on there. Make sure the writing is right side up. That is one thing. It is a little bit legible. It's not like totally illegible writing. So if it's upside down, you would notice it. Wow, that's really cool. Don't you think that's cool? Oh my gosh, I love it. I think I might add a little of this French writing on here too. Which color? Maybe in periwinkle. You know, it's kind of fun to use these stamps. Am I cluttering it up too much by doing that? I think that's really cool looking. And then you just need a message. Now I have gobs of message stamps. I have hello, I have the smile, like all of the little smile stamps. I have lined, you know, a strip message, anything like that I could use. And then the other thing that I have that I think will really add to this is these are the bluebell sequins. Now everybody has at least one batch of sequins in their stash that you haven't touched forever, right? So let's see if I put some sequins on here. I think I need to figure out what message I want to use, but oh, look, pretty. Wow, that's really neat. Neat, neat, neat. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and put these on. La, isn't that pretty? That card is so cool looking. Oh my gosh, and now I can make 4 of them. I have enough to, like, you know, make a bulk of them, which, you know, everybody's got their own favorite cut apart thing that you can do, where you can cut your pieces out. Let's see. Sorry, I didn't cut that one down all the way. I think this turned out really, really nice, and the cards look really, really neat. Let's see. Tearing out a little word strip here, like happy, happy, la. Yeah, you know, I think it needs the black. And this is why I decided I want to do a scrapbook page too, but I think I want to use black on it as a base. So let me grab it. Okay, trying to clean up my space a little bit. I'm a little bit messy. All right, so I have this page on the black. Look how pretty that is. I love it. Just like that. I could just be happy, happy, happy. I think I do want a few of these, like, kind of French words. I think they're they're cursive. I think they're French because they don't make any sense when you look at it, but I could be wrong. I don't know what that is. But anyway, neat. It just kind of, I don't know, adds a little something. Okay, I am going to use this just as a full sheet because, you know, I have no plan. And what I cut down, I took a piece of, I'm just going to leave an equal border on all the sides. What I cut down was a piece of periwinkle to make photo mats. And I thought I didn't know if it'd be better on black or better on the pewter. And who knows, like, you know, will I like it, you know, bold or light? I kind of like the light. And then, you know, pewter has a light side also. It's a lot softer. Like it could be, this could be a very soft look. Right? Oh, gosh, pretty, pretty. Let me at least put these together. I like the darker of the gray. That way I'm not messing around with so many pieces of paper. So the latest thing in my neighborhood is the kids behind me have been playing baseball in their yard. Now our yards are very, very small, and I cut a strip. What else did I cut? Let me see. Hold on. My other strips fell on the floor. I cut a 1/4 inch strip, a 1/2 inch strip, and a 2 inch strip. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to figure something out with this. So, just have to decide what I want to do with that. I think I might tear this. I like the softer. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I think I'll use the bold, and I'm going to tear it. So because our yards are small, they keep hitting their ball over the fence. There's like a big privacy fence in our backyard. So every day, Moose and I go outside, and we are throwing the balls back over the fence so that the little kids can hit them back over again. I kind of like that. That's kind of nice. Okay, let's do that. Do I like it light colored or dark colored? I think dark. So I kind of made that decision when I tore, I think, because when you tear this paper, it's got a white core, and you know, you wouldn't see the white core if you flipped it over after you tore it. I think I'll put this here. This is how I do my strips. I just put a line of glue, and then that way I can wiggle it around into place, and then it just kind of dries on its own. I don't use a line of glue on everything, but those little tiny strips, man, it's nice to have that. All right, so here is essentially my page. I have no idea, you know, how my photos will be, but now comes the fussy cut flowers, and I'm just going to cut out a couple. Let me go ahead and anyway, so in the background, you may not be able to hear it, but all I hear is thunk, thunk, thunk against that fence. I think, I don't know if they're aiming it at the fence, but I would think it would ruin the fence over time, you know, having a baseball or a tennis ball hit it constantly. If it was my kid, I'd be like, stop. But right now I just keep throwing the ball back to them. So what I like about these flowers that are stamped like this and where they're not totally colored in, they have kind of a neat wash kind of look, you know, but they're like, I know, I could, but it's not really my fence anyway, and it's, you know, if it damages it, it's theirs. It's their own fence. And if I hear it, you know their parents hear it, right? I mean, gosh. I'm tempted to go over there and take them down to the ball field. We have a ball field like 1 block away from our house. It's so close. And I'm like, I'll show you how to hit that ball so that I used to play softball. I was really good. I'm not sure how well I'd play now with my shoulder so messed up. Are you guys tired of watching me fussy cut yet? This is the last little bit to this project though. I don't know what I'll use this page for, but I'd like to make a title for it at some point, but I don't know what. But I do really like how this looks. And you can see there's no thin cuts to this set, but it's not that hard to cut out. I mean, I've cut out 4 flowers in, I don't know, 5 minutes. And I'm not super picky about my fussy cutting, especially on a page like this where I'm going to tuck things in and, you know. Does it feel like I'm covering up all of my beautiful random stamping? It feels that way a little bit to me, but all right. I don't know. I think that looks pretty cool. I could make that go all the way across. I could use, put my title right here. I like that idea. Okay. And then I just need a few sequins here and there. What I like about this mix of sequins is it's got ones that are not entirely blue. They almost look purpley sheer. And then there's some that are totally white. Then there are some that are pretty blue. And a few kind of just iridescent. So I like the idea of using those around those flowers. And there's different sizes, which is really nice. Gosh, I really, really like this, you guys. This turned out better than I imagined. It's beautiful. All right, let me move that. And I'm gonna move it close. Oh, this right here, this is like a wax tool picker. They have them in the catalog on the tool page, and it comes like, I don't know, 13 or 14 inches long. And I cut mine into 3 pieces so that it's tiny. And then I just sharpened it like a pencil, and it's basically just wax. It's like a wax stick, and it lets you, you know, pick things up and put things back. You know, you can move things around without using a tweezer, which I'm not good with tweezers. So, all right, let's see. I'm gonna move this up close. Sorry, there's a little static in my in my mat. All right, so there's the flowers. There's some flowers, and I added a few little shimmers. Now I just gotta decide on a title. And then the cards, of course. Just need to add a message. Or I could even, you know, I could fussy cut and pop up a few of those flowers, but I like the idea of the message. Isn't that pretty? My gosh, you guys. And if you're not into periwinkle, totally get that. I am not a purple lover, but I love this periwinkle color. But you just imagine if you did it in like melon or, you know, even red or a sage green, and just do a different color combo. Man, I think that's, you know, a cool, I think it turned out to be a cool page. Sorry, I'm gonna glue my sequins on before I lose them, because I probably will. And that's all I have for today. I hope you like it. It's so much fun. It felt like it went really fast. What time is it? Oh, 1:45. See, 45 minutes to make essentially 4 cards and a page. Pretty good. I just have to figure out what I want for my messages, right? And my I just love this. Oh my gosh. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. When you put embellishments on between a page like that, like between 2 mats, you just have to make sure that you leave room for your photos to tuck behind. So that's all right. That's what I've got. I hope that you're all having a great afternoon. Oh, red. I don't, you know, hold on just a sec. Let me grab that page that I made. I have them all in a stack here. Okay, so these are the Dream Maker, you know, workshop pages. I didn't really mess with them too much. This is what it looks like in yellow. And there's Glacier and Periwinkle, Lagoon. Here's this is actually stamped in Flamingo. And then this is like Melon and Peach. And then more Lagoon. And there's all the different, there's the rainbow of colors. So this one's stamped in Flamingo. I wonder if I stamped it in red, if it would be like too bold, but I do like how that looks. Look at all the colors, Sundance, and I think that is Lemonade. So yeah, those are really pretty. Really pretty. I love this workshop, by the way. Oh my gosh. I can't even tell you how much I love it. I love it so much. I feel like, so my niece's graduation is coming up, and I think I'm going to put her graduation pictures on it. Love it. I know, it's gorgeous, Margie. It's really, really, whew. And I'm not a big, you know, fussy cutter, but so fussy cutting these flowers, I hesitated. But since I bought the bundle, it all came together, and so they're not too bad. And you don't have to be perfect. You can see that, you know, when you stack them along each other, you don't really notice the white border too badly. So if you botch it up a little, you can just tuck it under something. So, all right, that's it. I'm gonna finish this page. I'll put a picture on it of it on the group at some point. Anything you're making, gosh, feel free to post. I'd love to see what you guys are coming up with. I haven't seen any artwork from people for a little while. And I know the weather's nice, but just come on and post and share your stuff. I love it. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.